Tonight, the subject is medical malpractice, and we have the leading authorities from 3 states as our special guest tonight. From New York, we have Jeffrey Shapiro of Jeffrey Shapiro Associates. Jeffrey, what's the difference between medical malpractice and garden variety negligence?
Well, medical malpractice involves situations in which doctors or healthcare providers have been negligent or careless, which results in injury to their patient. Basically, it means that they've either made a mistake in treatment or an error in judgment which has caused physical injury to their patient.
If you make a mistake, that's just the risks you take when you go to a professional. Nobody's perfect and nobody's 100%, and as long as he exercises judgment that's reasonably prudent in the medical community, you're okay.
A bad result doesn't necessarily mean that there's been malpractice, but if a doctor goes as far as making a mistake, which another doctor confronted with the same facts and situations would not have made, it's certainly a strong indicator that perhaps there's malpractice.
Isn't it so? You're about to have a procedure, some medical procedure, and you're sitting there and you're next to go in, and then they hand you a thing, oh, just don't worry about it, sign it.
In the real world, 99% of people who sign consents that doctors hand to them don't know what they're signing, can't understand anything that's written in there because they're couched in medical terms.
And they're also so upset that they're tense, and he's God. You're going in to have an audience with God, so I'm not going to read what he's saying to me.
The issue where this comes up is not so much where a person is undergoing a necessary life-saving procedure, but where this really comes up is where a person is going under an elective procedure, for example, plastic surgery, where you can live whether you have it or not. And the issue then becomes, is the doctor really explaining the risks to the patient before performing this elective procedure, or is he not doing it because if the patient really understood the risk, maybe they wouldn't have the surgery done?
How is this doctor paid, guys? This doctor who's going to testify against his brethren? Well,
the doctor is either paid for on an hourly rate. He's paid to come to court on a daily or morning or afternoon rate. I have a doctor now who I've been consulted with a case who has asked that his fee be donated to charity.
Wow, that's a rare doctor.
And by the way, you know that it's not just the doctor. A doctor is involved in these cases not just to go to court. That's the end result, which may or may not happen. Doctors become involved in these cases from the very beginning because when a case comes into my office, I must obtain the records and have them reviewed by another doctor before I can bring a lawsuit. So it's not necessarily just testimony that we're looking for, but we're looking for objective evaluation of a person's case to determine whether or not it's a valid case before we even start it.
But we're talking about that guy you bring in sometimes, as you say, from out of state. You fellows must have enormous medical bills then.
Well, that's why you can only survive as a medical malpractice attorney if you have to know enough to take the cases that you have a good chance of success on. That's where experience really counts. Because if you try to pursue every case that comes into your office, you'll soon be in another area of law. Right. Because
bankruptcy.
That's absolutely right. That would be another show. But you absolutely must have a sense of medicine and know where you're going with these cases before you accept them.
Guys, we're going to get lots of calls, I think, because you said the magic word, money, doctors. 877 MSG Metro, 877 Metro Fax. Email on your screen. Stay here. We're going to be back. We're going to talk about the highways and byways of malpractice.